Welcome to Truth Talk Live.
All right, let's talk.
The truth is, I can't hide it, I can't hold it no more.
A daily program powered by the Truth Network,
This is kind of a great thing, and I'll tell you why.
where pop culture, current events, and theology all come together.
Speak
Your mind.
And now, here's today's Truth Talk Live host.
Truth Talk Live, yours truly here, Nikita Koloff. Great to be back with you. It's been a while since I've been on Truth Talk Live, and here to talk about what you're thankful for. I know we're a little over a week out from the next major holiday, that being Thanksgiving, and I want to know, we're going to do some call-ins today. I want to know what your favorite Thanksgiving memory is. Maybe if you and your family have some sort of Thanksgiving tradition, or you just want to call in and share what you're thankful for. And maybe it has nothing to do with Thanksgiving. And interesting holiday that we celebrate because, there's a great focus, hence the name Thanksgiving, of taking that day and really just sharing what we're thankful for. But I've learned over the years that that's not the only thing or the only day that we can be thankful, right? That can be each and every day if we choose to. I'm reminded of that scripture. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I like to say it this way: and I choose to rejoice and be glad in it, right? What are you glad for today? Of course, if you've heard me on Truth Talk Live before, then I like to do giveaways. I like to do Bible trivia giveaways. So we're going to have some of that today as well. And 866-348-7884, 866-34-TRUTH is the number that you can call in and share with me and our listening audience what you are thankful for, or you can share a favorite Thanksgiving memory from your past, or choice number 3, a Thanksgiving tradition. What's one of your Thanksgiving traditions? And let's do our first little trivia question here before we really jump into or dive into all this. And I'm gonna start with an easy one for you here, okay? I don't want to give you anything too difficult, so let me just pull up our first trivia question here, and what you're going to receive by getting the question right. Again, those who are familiar with me being on True Talk Live, you're going to get a personally autographed wrestling photo. If you're not familiar, I was a former world wrestling champion back in the 80s and 90s, and now also host here at Truth Radio Network. It's Time to Man Up, as well as Q&A with Koloff, and perhaps you listen to those shows. A lot of great shows here on the Truth Radio Network. But let's throw out our first trivia question here. Which book has this phrase? There is a time for everything. Now, before even giving you any choices, some of you already know the answer, but I'm going to go ahead and throw the 4 options out there for you. Is that in the book of Psalms, the book of Isaiah, Song of Solomon, or the book of Ecclesiastes? And the quote is, there is a time for everything. 866-348-7884. Maybe you're not a wrestling fan, but you know somebody who is, and I can personally autograph that for your favorite friend or family member. Call in if you have the answer to the first trivia question. Which book has this quote? There is a time for everything. And let me hear from you today. And also, as we dive into a little bit more of this, really for me, just a Thanksgiving celebration. I like to give thanks every day of the year, not just one day of the year. Now there's lots of things that I have done over the years. We have usually a big family feast. And what are some of your favorite foods? Here's another question, perhaps. what are some of your favorite foods for Thanksgiving? I'd love to hear that from you as well. When I think about Thanksgiving, and I'm a history guy, so I like to go back and not only review history and read about history, but I like to go tour. And I'm getting ready to here in just about 10 days board a plane and head over to the state of Israel and to a summit. And I'm excited about that. It's my first overseas international trip in quite a while. The last time I was there, I went with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and another wrestling friend of ours on a pilgrimage. We spent 3 days in Jordan and then 8 days in Israel. If you go on my Facebook page, you'll see me standing in a river with the $1 Million Man. And that was actually the Jordan River, where the three of us took turns kind of baptizing each other. And so I'm very, very thankful, very, very grateful. Thanksgiving, the history of Thanksgiving, by all accounts, goes back to that at Plymouth Rock, right? September of 1620. Can you imagine? We're going back now, what was that, 400 years, where a small ship called the Mayflower left Plymouth, England, carrying 102 passengers, an assortment of religious separatists seeking a new home where they could freely practice their faith, and other individuals lured by the promise of prosperity and land ownership in the, quote, New World, end quote. And it wasn't, as you might imagine, 400 years ago, it wasn't the easiest trip across the pond. It was a bit treacherous and an uncomfortable crossing that lasted, ready for this? I should make this a trivia question, but I won't. That lasted 66 days. Can you fathom? Wrap your head around that. They got on a boat to cross the pond from Europe over to what would become the United States of America. In 66 days, they dropped anchor near the tip of Cape Cod. Quite amazing a journey. And a month later, the Mayflower crossed into Massachusetts Bay, where the Pilgrims, as they're now commonly known, began the work of establishing a village at Plymouth. Just a little bit of history there. 866-348-7884. If you want to share with me what you're thankful for, you can share something that you're thankful for, a favorite Thanksgiving memory, or maybe a Thanksgiving tradition, or maybe some of your favorite Thanksgiving food. And of course, if you know the answer to the trivia question, which book of the Bible, right, is this phrase? There's a time for everything. It's in the book of Psalms, Isaiah, Song of Solomon, or the book of Ecclesiastes. Give me a call, and love to get mailed out to you a personally autographed 8x10 wrestling photo. And I know for me, actually I have a lot of favorite foods over Thanksgiving. One of it, I'm just going to skip ahead, one of which is pumpkin pie. I do love a good piece of pumpkin pie with a big dollop of Cool Whip, of cream on top is one of my favorites. And I know not a lot of people kind of along that same vein and along those same lines is like yams. You ever had yams with maybe some brown sugar and some marshmallow on top and kind of toasted in the oven? And I know not everybody's a sweet potato or a yam fan, but I, for one, am a yam fan. That's one of my favorites as well. But what about you? What's one of your favorite foods? What's one of your favorite memories? What's one of your favorite traditions? When I come back, let's discuss it some more. Love to hear from you. 866-348-7884. And let's find a trivia winner as well. We'll be back in just a moment. Truth Talk Live. Yours truly, Nikita Koloff, the Devil's Nightmare.
listening to the Truth Network and truthnetwork.com.
Hey, we are back. Nikita Koloff, your host today. Pleasure and honor to be here on Truth Talk Live. Looks like we might have a trivia winner, Laura, down in South Carolina. Let's find out right now. Laura, are you there, Laura?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Laura, what part of South Carolina are you in?
Greenville.
Greenville. I'm very familiar with Greenville, Laura. I understand the old Civic Center is no longer there. They tore it down to build a new building, unfortunately. I say. Right?
Yep, I miss it, though. I really loved it there.
It was.
A lot of restaurants.
I know. Do you have a lot of memories there?
Yep.
We used to go, you probably know this already, but we used to go 48 times a year to the Greenville Memorial Auditorium to wrestle there, to strap up the boots. But
Every Monday night.
Huh?
Every Monday night.
That is right. Yes, ma'am, you are correct. Every Monday night. That is correct. So, well, wonderful. Just a side note, do you have a favorite wrestling memory there at the auditorium, the Greenville Memorial?
Probably when I met a bunch of wrestlers at one time, like you guys, Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair, just several wrestlers at once outside.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, right? Yeah, he was a good one. Well, you have an answer, Laura, to the trivia question. Okay.
The answer is Ecclesiastes.
Boom. 3-1. And 3-1. And you know the address. I call it the address. Ecclesiastes
Yes.
3-1. That is right. Well, my producer Nick will get a mailing address from you and just let him know who you want the photo made out. I'll personalize it to whoever you want it made out to. Hey, since I got you on the phone, just a quick question too regarding Thanksgiving. Anything you want to mention that you're thankful for, or Thanksgiving memory or tradition?
Yes, I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for God for having us here together, and thankful just most of all for God being in my life.
Oh, well, amen. Well, praise God for that, Laura. Well, thank you for being a wrestling fan, firstly, and then really more important, great to hear that you have God in your life and you're thankful for that relationship with Him, right?
Yes.
Well, wonderful. Will you hang on? Nick's going to make sure we get your address so we can mail that 8x10 to you, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Well, and happy Thanksgiving in advance.
You as well. Enjoy your trip overseas.
Thank you, Laura. And Natalie called in while we were, I think, on break. My producer Nick handed me and said, Natalie, thankful for God every day that she has with her son and her family. It looks like Carlos, called in as well. And just the hope and giving and Yahweh. Thankful for God. And what are you thankful for as we get ready to embark on this Thanksgiving? We've already embarked on this Thanksgiving season. I'm looking out the window here in the studio, all the variety of colors of leaves as we transition into this fall season and we get ready here in just a few days for Thanksgiving. What's your favorite Thanksgiving memory or your favorite Thanksgiving tradition? Throughout the first brutal winter, going back to a bit of history, throughout the first brutal winter, most of the colonists remained on board the ship where they suffered from exposure, scurvy, and outbreaks of contagious disease. Only half of the Mayflower's original passengers and crew lived to see their first New England spring. So here we are in the fall, but only half of them lived through the brutal winter to experience the spring. What are you thankful for? 866-348-7884, 866-34-TRUTH. Let me give you let's do another trivia here. Laura down in Greenville, South Carolina, our first trivia winner. And let's give you another one. And this may be an easy one. We'll see. Who wrote the book of Titus? Who wrote the book of Titus? Did Titus write it? Did he write his own book? Did Paul? Did Peter? Or John? Who wrote the book of Titus? 866-348-7884. 866-34-TRUTH. Call in and win a free 8x10 personally autographed photo. And if you just want to call in to my producer, Nick, and if you don't want to be on air for some reason, just call in and tell him what you're thankful for, or maybe what your favorite memory of Thanksgiving is, or how about a favorite? I'd love to hear a favorite Thanksgiving tradition from somebody, a favorite Thanksgiving memory from somebody, and certainly always appreciate the things you're thankful for. And of course, when I think of Thanksgiving, I don't know about you, but I think of turkeys. And Tom the turkey right now is trying to run in the opposite direction of where he might end up. I'm thinking, but turkey and what else goes along with that, right? Stuffing, maybe mashed potatoes, and I'm a cranberry sauce guy. No, not everybody is, but man, I just like cranberry sauce with my Thanksgiving dinner. So if my family's listening out there, my daughter, I intend to forward to spending Thanksgiving with my 4 girls and grandchildren. And by the way, you probably don't know this, but I have grandchild, ready for this? Grandchild number 15 on the way. Yeah, some of you just gasped for air right there, didn't you? Grandchild number 15 on the way. My youngest daughter, Colby, her and her husband, Andrew, are getting ready to adopt their third baby. And so amazing. They adopted Elliot last May. They adopted Maya this May. And this baby, believe it or not, is going to be born next May. We have 3 babies, a newborn, 1 and 2. My daughter's birthday's in May, and their anniversary's in May. That's crazy. We got a call here from, looks down in Jacksonville, Florida. I think Ann down in Jacksonville. Ann, are you there?
Yes, good afternoon. How are you?
I am wonderful. Jacksonville. I'm going to be down that way next month. And was it Ponte Verde? Did I say that right?
Ponte Vedra.
Oh, yes, that right there. That's where I'm going to be. I'm going to be down there. Well, and what are you thankful for? What's a favorite memory, a favorite tradition as we get ready to celebrate Thanksgiving?
Okay, and you'd ask who wrote the book of Titus.
What's that now?
Did you get that answer? You'd ask who wrote the book of Titus.
Oh! The trivia. I see the note. I was going to bust I was going to bust the chops of my producer there, but I actually see where you did. Let me get over there so we can get that. So you have the answer to that question.
I do, but I can tell you something I'm thankful for. I'm always grateful.
Well, go ahead and give me the answer to the trivia.
Paul wrote the book of Titus.
Boom, you are correct. Paul did write the book of Titus, and he just lays it out there right in Titus 1:1, right? So we'll now. Ann, were you a wrestling fan growing up, or no?
I beg your pardon?
Were you a wrestling fan growing up, or you just called it because you knew the answer to the trivia?
You would ask about being thankful and also about the book of Titus. So I don't know anything about wrestling.
Well, that's okay. Not everybody does, and but if you like a autograph photo, just give an address to Nick and who to sign it to. Maybe you know somebody who is, okay?
Okie dokie.
All right. Well, God bless you. Happy Thanksgiving in advance. When we come back, more trivia, more history of Thanksgiving. Thank you, Ann, for calling in.
You're listening to the Truth Network and truthnetwork.com.
Okay, we're back. Nikita Koloff, your host today on Truth Talk Live. We're talking about Thanksgiving. I know we're a bit ahead of the curve on that, but you know what? You know, it's one of my favorite times of the year, gathering together with family and overstuffing yourself with food till you can't breathe, and you just all the things that come along with it, going into a comatose state of mind in the afternoon as you fall asleep because you ate too much. And hey, what are you thankful for? Travis called in and said, thankful for Jesus dying for our sins. Thank you, Travis. That is definitely something to be thankful for. What are you thankful for? Or do you have a favorite Thanksgiving memory? I'd love to hear it. 866-348-7884, 866-34-TRUTH. Or maybe you have a Thanksgiving, some Thanksgiving tradition that your family always does. I'd love to hear that as well. We've had two winners. Laura down in Greenville, South Carolina, won the first trivia question, an autographed 8x10. And down in Jacksonville, Florida, not a wrestling fan, Ann, but that's okay. If you know someone, family member or a friend or someone who is. I remember Jacksonville very well, the building down there in Jacksonville, wrestling there many, many, many times in Jacksonville. Let's try another trivia question. Let's see if we can maybe give at least one more 8x10 away today, a free 8x10 personally autographed by yours truly, former world wrestling champion, and as Stu Epperson likes to say, now the devil's nightmare. Once the Russian nightmare, now the devil's nightmare. In the book of Philemon, a little bit tougher question, but I believe somebody can answer it. In the book of Philemon, who is Paul's fellow prisoner? Who's his fellow prisoner? Epaphras, Archippus, Onesimus, or Apollos? Who is Paul's fellow prisoner in the book of Philemon? Give us a call at 866-348-7884. That's 866-34-TRUTH. And give me the answer to the trivia question. We'll get a free 8x10 autographed photo sent out to you here from the Truth Radio Network here in Winston-Salem. Going back to some of the tradition while we're waiting on some other callers to call in. Fast forward to modern day, and of course, Thanksgiving centers around not only the food and the fellowship, certainly that's one of the main focuses, but also sports came into play. And I should have looked this up, but I'm not sure when the first sporting event was on Thanksgiving. But of course, now Thanksgiving is especially for a sporting fan, is related to football, right? Football. But going back to, I don't know if you're a football fan or not, but we go all the way back to Yale versus Princeton in 1876. It was tied in around that Thanksgiving time frame, and of course by the late 1800s, parades had become common. In the 1920s, there were stores like Gimbel's department store in Philadelphia that staged a parade that actually even had a Santa Claus there on the float at the rear or the end of the procession. That kind of became a thing too, as I remember as a kid growing up. Go the Macy's Thanksgiving parade on television, and it seemed like it always would conclude, or sometimes I'd be at a Thanksgiving parade live. That's a memory of mine, one of my memories. What's your favorite memory? What's your favorite Thanksgiving memory? 866-348-7884, or a Thanksgiving tradition. I haven't heard one of those yet. I've heard from Natalie and Carlos and Travis what they're thankful for, but I would love to hear somebody's favorite memory, somebody's favorite tradition, or an answer to the third trivia question. Since 1924, the annual Macy's parade in New York City has continued as a tradition. Pretty amazing. What's your favorite Thanksgiving memory? What is a Thanksgiving tradition of yours? Would love to hear from you. 866-348-7884, or an answer to the trivia question. In the book of Philemon, who is Paul's fellow prisoner? Is it Epaphras, Archippus, Onesimus, or Apollos? Give me a call. Let's see if we can give out another 8x10 photo here. And, the another thing when it comes to Thanksgiving, from that, I guess if we go back to 21, when they had the very, what would be designated as the very first official Thanksgiving during that autumn harvest feast. Acknowledged today, for really it was for about 2 centuries, the day of Thanksgiving was celebrated by individual colonies and by the states. And then it wasn't until 1863, ready for this? Till 1863, in the midst of the Civil War, that President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed a national Thanksgiving Day. And of course, to be held when? You guessed it, in the month of November. Well, many, many memories that I have growing up in Siberia, Russia. Just kidding. That was just part of the story, part of my wrestling story, part of my character. Actually grew up in the great state of Minnesota. And late November, believe it or not, back in those days, we would typically have snow on the ground. I know that's probably hard for many of you to believe, but we would typically by then. Sometimes snow came as early as the end of October or the very beginning of November. But usually, I remember my childhood memories that by Thanksgiving there was always snow on the ground, and of course that just made for an extra special Thanksgiving as a kid growing up, because we loved to do all the outdoor activities, right? To go sledding, right? Go out. We used to play. One of my memories over the Thanksgiving holiday, of course, we had that break from school, was all the neighborhood boys would meet out front, and we'd have a football game out there on the asphalt in the street, only interrupted by an occasional car that would come through. And I can remember, because way back then when I was little, loved catching that football, diving into the snowbanks, right? And then while that turkey was being cooked and the mashed potatoes and everything else was being prepared, just one of or some of my favorite Thanksgiving memories. What about you? Do you have a favorite Thanksgiving memory? Don't be shy. You can call 866-348-7884 and share maybe one of your traditions for Thanksgiving. That's 866-34-TRUTH. Or maybe you have the answer to the trivia question. In the book of Philemon, New Testament, who is Paul's fellow prisoner? And I'm just reminded how many times. You ever thought about what? Now, we talked about what the colonists went through, coming off the Mayflower in that first brutal winter, and only about 50% of them surviving. You ever thought about what Paul went through for the sake of the gospel? How much he suffered. When you read the account of being shipwrecked and how many times he was beaten, and they threw stones at him and they beat him with rods, and of course he was scourged a number of times, but yet he never lost faith. He, as much as he went through, even how about the thorn in his side, right? Asking God, can you take this thorn from my side? And of course, the Lord said, it's in his weakness. Anybody know? It's in his weakness that he is made strong. Because what it did was it made the Apostle Paul more dependent upon God, right? I think of those first pilgrims who came over for religious freedom, really. They called them separatists, but they were looking for religious freedom where they could practice their own religion and, not be told, what religion they would practice, but the opportunity here in the land of the free to be able to practice their own faith and their own religion, and which is one of the things, as our nation was founded on, right? The religious liberties and the ability to just honor God, love God. Well, the Apostle Paul was an incredible illustration of someone who went through certainly more hardships than I know. I've gone through some hardships, but certainly more hardships than I could even really wrap my head around or even fathom. Every time I read that account about what all he went through, and then he kind of concludes by saying, but these momentary light afflictions, and I don't know about you, but man, in my mind, I'm like, Paul, man, what you just described is not a light affliction. That's not a light affliction, man. That is, wow, that is brutal what some of those things you went through for the sake of the gospel, just to get the gospel message out. If you have loved ones that you're going to be gathering with for this Thanksgiving holiday, and maybe they don't have a relationship with Jesus yet, but you can pray for them. You can pray for them and be able to just share the love of Jesus. Be Jesus with skin on. You don't need to preach to them or at them, but you can pray with them and for them. When we come back, Alicia down in Beaufort, South Carolina, has an answer to our trivia question. Hold tight there, Alicia. We'll be back in just a minute.
Truth Talk Live.
You're listening to the Truth Network and truthnetwork.com.
All right. We are back. We are back here at Truth Talk Live. Nikita Koloff, Alicia down in Beaufort, South Carolina. Alicia, are you there?
Hi. Yes, I am here.
Hi, Alicia. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Doing wonderful. An early happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, too. And Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
All of it, right? We'll just include it all in, right? We're moving into some of the funnest parts of the year. And so you're down there in Beaufort, South Carolina. I'm familiar with Beaufort. I've been there before, Alicia.
Oh, yes, you have? Yes, it's great here. It's nice weather, nice community. It's a beach town / military town / small town. It's really nice and good here.
And how long have you lived in Beaufort?
I've been in Beaufort most of my life.
Okay, so kind of born and raised more or less, huh?
Not born, but raised.
Okay,
much, yeah.
Raised. I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's wonderful. Yes. Wonderful. Well, you have an answer to our trivia question?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So the answer, Paul's fellow prisoner, was Epaphras. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. If I'm wrong,
well, you got the answer right, and the Lord only knows how to pronounce his name. But I don't know if it's I say Epaphras, but you got it right. Philemon 1:23 is where that is noted, and we'll be sure to get your mailing address to my producer Nick and tell him who you'd like the 8x10 signed to. Now, before I let you go, take a minute, Alicia, and do you have I'm still looking for a favorite Thanksgiving memory or a favorite Thanksgiving tradition. Do you have either of those, one of those?
No, not really. They're just so long as the food is good. I only have a bad memory, and that was when the turkey was dry. Other than that, if the food's good, everything else is good.
I hear you.
And you have family, and close friends, just being together.
Yeah.
I can't wait for next week. Our family's gonna do a whole new thing. We're gonna do a dance line, karaoke, and all that stuff. But
wow.
Thinking about your question, what came to my mind was my uncle, St. Carl, and I say St. Carl because he's recently passed, but he had the choice of either being a man of the cloth or going into law enforcement. He chose to go into law enforcement, and because I think if he was going to be the man of the cloth, he couldn't marry his wife.
Right.
And he wanted to be with her.
Right.
So he went into law enforcement. He was a parole officer, and the people wanted to know how he had such a good success rate. Most of his people that, his parolees, they didn't recommit. They didn't go back into the system.
Yeah.
They went on to lead successful lives. And he just said, you know what? Just like Jesus, sometimes you got to meet people where they are. People will come to the church and they'll come searching for God, and searching for whatever they're missing in life, which is Jesus. But he said sometimes if you just meet people where they are and you look at them through the lens of God and you look at them as, they're people worthy to be saved, that's how you help people.
Well,
and so whatever song you have next, I want to dedicate that to my uncle.
Well, you know what? That is, I'm just making a note as you're talking. Meet people where they are. So this was his philosophy. Meet people where they are and look through the lens of God, right?
Yes.
Well, that's...
And my uncle taught his children that, and he taught others that. And he was a catalyst for prison reform. And so, prison, the first, prison ministry is right there in the New Testament.
Yep.
So people can be saved while they're in jail, and the convicts, while they're serving their time.
Yep.
But it also expands to the prison guards as well.
Well, and to that point, I mean, I haven't done a lot of prison ministry. I've done some. But I'll say this about the prison man: if you're not real, they see right through you, right? They'll just see right through you. But I've experienced some genuine salvations and some genuine transformation of some of the prisoners, and post prison that have gotten out and just gotten in, whether it's into ministry or just back into society, and that's pretty amazing. That's a pretty amazing testimony you have there. That's a wonderful story. Wow.
Yes, it is, and his fraternity, I believe they every Christmas they get together and they donate money for the convicts who are in prison. They donate money to their children so that their children can have a special Christmas.
Wow, that is amazing. Well,
so
God,
he just does he used to be, after he was a parole officer, he became a warden in upstate prisons in New York.
Wow.
And he became a catalyst for prison reform and just helped a lot of people. And at his funeral, there were a lot of ex-convicts and a lot of prison guards, that he may have mentored or worked with decades ago,
wow.
Maybe even 30 and 40 years ago, but they still remembered him. So Carl Berry,
awesome.
Google him. And thank you so much for your question, and thank you so much for your ministry.
Thank you.
Just for everybody, I just want you to know that it lifts my spirit, music and songs. And I just appreciate you guys for that.
Thank
and everybody there at Truth.
Thank you, Alicia. We appreciate you. Thanks for calling in. Hold tight here. Nick's going to get a mailing address from you, okay? And you have a blessed Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? So,
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Alicia, Beaufort, South Carolina. We've had some fun today, and down in Jacksonville, Florida as well. And it's all the ladies today. Laura over in Greenville, South Carolina, are the winners of the 8x10s today. Appreciate Travis and Carlos and Natalie calling in with some of the things they're thankful for. And think about what Alicia just said. Meeting people where they are, looking at them through the lens of God, right? There's some lessons in that we could all learn from, right? And we are talking about the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday today. Thank you for all the trivia winners calling in, and just grateful. And I too am grateful for Stu Epperson, Truth Radio Network, Nick, my producer, all the folks, all the amazing folks that work here at Truth and produce the It's Time to Man Up and my radio show and podcast and Q&A with Koloff. If you hadn't had a chance to check those out, get the Truth app. Go get the Truth app. If you have not downloaded the Truth Network app, you really should do that. And it's going to give you access to a whole host of podcasts, and of course the Truth Talk Live, the radio right through your app. And so, as you prepare for the Thanksgiving holiday, just be mindful from now till then. Be thinking about some things that you're thankful for, and man, each and every day we can spend some time, just take a moment and reflect, whether it's thankful for good health, or thankful for friends, thankful for family, thankful for a job. I mean, there's so many things that we take for granted, right? Like thankful for a roof over our head, I'm thankful for a comfortable bed and, at night and comfortable pillow to put my head on, blankets to cover up with, the clothes on my back, the car outside that the Lord's blessed me with to drive. The list could really go on and on and on, and just really appreciate all of you faithful listeners here. Thanksgiving, and a couple of things, just a couple little fun facts about Thanksgiving. Every year the president pardons a turkey. I wonder if you know who was the first president. Little fun fact here as we get ready to wrap up True Talk Live today. Who was the first president who pardoned the first turkey, shall we say? Well, if you didn't know, President John F. Kennedy was the first American president to spare a turkey's life. Quote, "We'll just let this one grow." JFK quipped in 1963. We'll just let this one grow. It's our Thanksgiving present to him. So a bit of a fun fact there you may not have known about. And so that's just kind of fun, going back and even looking at some of the fun facts and just some of the traditions, maybe not family traditions, but just traditions, across our great nation. As well. And just want to encourage you, want to challenge you and encourage you. Let me just end on this note today. We're almost out of time, but I just want to end on this note. Travis called in and said he was thankful for Jesus for dying for our sins. If you've never made that decision, maybe you just stumbled across True Talk Live today, flipping through channels or through your app or however you got here, and you've never given your heart, never surrendered your heart and your life to Jesus. Okay, I want to challenge you to not wait any longer. The Bible says there's no promise of tomorrow. Today is the day of salvation. And you do that, and this would I would venture to say potentially be the best Thanksgiving you've ever had. The celebration of Christmas is the birth of Jesus, right? But you don't have to wait till then to honor him. Nikita Koloff, your host. Thanks for dialing in today to True Talk Live. Until next time, happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
Truth Talk Live.